Your task this time was to take a look at the given code and determine what would be logged out for each of these console.log statements. So let's run the code now to see what we get. For our first log statement, we have logged out a slice of array 1. Specifically, this means that we are logging out a subset of array 1 from the first index, index 0, inclusive, to the second index, exclusive. The slice method logs out a subset of the original array, so this is why we get 1 and 2 logged out. Next, we have logged out another slice of the array again. But this time we are saying we want to slice from index 2, in this case the value 3, up to index 3, which is the value 4. This means that we will only log out the value 3, and that is why we get 3 logged out, because we don't want to include our index up to where we are slicing, which is 4. In our third log statement here, we want to slice from index 4. And so this means we want to slice from index 4, which is the value 5 here in array 1, to the end of the array. Well, since this index 4 happens to be at the end of our array, we just log 5 out, and that's it. One important thing to note here is that slicing does not actually modify the original array at all. Rather, it just creates a shallow copy of it. And so if we try to log out array 1 from here and run the code, you can see that the original array has stayed the same. Let's move on to our next set of log statements. So in our fourth log statement, we now want to splice our array. So the name of this splice function is very similar to slice. But don't be confused, they are very different. The splice method actually modifies the original array, usually by adding or removing elements from it. Slice, on the other hand, doesn't modify the original array, but it is used for returning a subset of the original array. So for example, in this line, we want to splice our first array from index 0 to index 2. This means that we want to remove 2 elements from our original array, starting from index 0. So this means that we want to remove 1 and 2 from array 1. And this is why we get an array of 1 and 2 returned to us. It is because the splice method modifies the original array and returns the deleted array. So if we log out array 1 here again, we will see it has been modified. Let's run the code. As you can see, the original array got modified because we removed 1 and 2 from it. So now we get 3, 4, and 5 logged out to us. Let's take a look at our fifth log statement. For splice 2 here, we want to splice array 2 at index 2. Because we did not pass in a second argument, we did not specify how many elements we want removed. So what this will do is just remove all the elements in the array starting from index 2 till the end. This is why we get 3, 4, and 5 logged out to the console here. And if we log out array 2 from here, and we run the code, we see that the original array has been modified. we get 1 and 2 logged out because we removed everything from 3, 4, and 5 from the array. Now let's take a look at our last log statement down here for splice 3. For splice 3 here, we want to splice the array 3 at index 2 for one element and insert x, y, and z into the array. This is why we get 3 logged out, because we're saying at index 2 at array 3, which is the value 3, we want to delete it. And so 3 is the deleted part of the array. And if we log out array 3, we should also see a modified array again. Let's run the code. As you can see, array 3 is logged out modified. At position 2 in the array, we have removed one element and inserted x, y, and z instead. This shows that in addition to deleting elements from an array, we can also add elements into the original array using Splice. Great, so the difference between slice and splice methods is that the slice method does not modify the original array, but the splice method does. And the splice method returns the deleted elements as an array form, and is usually used to insert or delete elements to and from the array. Knowing the difference between these two methods is very important in programming interviews, because it shows the interviewer how comfortable you are with manipulating arrays. Great, that sums up this lesson. See you in the next video.